This picture of a praying mantis isn't so much a artful interpretation of an insect or anything like that. It's really just more of an experiment. I had no intention of taking this picture at all. My wife and I were, I don't know, it's about 8:30, I think, in the evening, and we got the kids to bed, and we're cleaning up in the kitchen and just doing usual household things. And my wife comes into the house. I think she put something out in the garage. She said, "Hey, you're going to want to see this. Grab your camera." And I've learned that when she says that, she means it. So I grabbed my camera, and sure enough, there was this praying mantis that was on the top of the wheel well of our car. And I don't know that I've seen a praying mantis in person in quite some time. This little guy was maybe 3 inches long, and he's just hanging out on the wheel of our car. And I really didn't expect to see that. So she said, "Why don't you try and take a photo?" And I did. I grabbed my camera, and there's a lot of things I had to try and figure out on the fly. I knew I wanted to use a close-up filter since I wouldn't be able to get the shot that, well, not even the shot I was looking for, because I wasn't looking for any particular shot, but I knew I wouldn't be able to get even a decent shot with the lens itself, because it just doesn't focus that close. So I grabbed a +4 filter, and I knew that the +10 would be way too close, and I might even spook the little fella. So I didn't want to do that. So I grabbed a +4 filter, which allows me to focus a little closer than usual, and tried to figure out how to get a picture of this thing. Now, it was in the garage, and it was after the sun went down. So how do you light a praying mantis on the top of a wheel well? And I didn't really know what to do or have a good solution. I tried a couple different things, and what I settled on was I've got this 20-volt rechargeable flashlight. It's one of those garage tools that has a rechargeable battery pack that you take off and you put in a charger, and you can interchange between various other tools. And I have this flashlight that takes this 20-volt battery pack. So I set that on the ground several feet away, and that's what you're seeing as the light source here. And you can see it kind of light the mantis, but also cast a white light on the top of the wheel well there. And it worked pretty well, but it was actually too high powered, because normally you don't use those things for photographing insects. You use them for finding stuff in pitch black on the job site or anything like that. So I had to sort of play around with the light and figure out how to I guess angle it / diffuse it to get it how I wanted it. And then there was the issue of the usual the usual questions, like what aperture to shoot at, how to frame the thing within the shot, all these other things that I had to figure out. I don't honestly remember what I shot this at in terms of aperture. I think it was probably f4, maybe 5.6. I think that was it, f5.6. And I ended up, as I usually do, I used auto ISO because I don't really care about ISO anymore, especially on my D750. The one trick, though, or the one thing that I did have to sort of figure out was not necessarily like some of these basics, but what do I want the viewer to focus on, and how close should I get in order to get the picture I was looking for, and what about depth of field, and these other like slightly trickier things. In the end, I liked the picture. It was a fun little experiment to try. The colors are a little weird because those close-up filters don't have... They diffuse the colors, I've noticed. And so he looks kind of sickly green, and I played with it a little bit in Lightroom, but didn't get quite what I was looking for. And all in all, it was a fun little thing to try. So I would say try this yourself, which I do often on the podcast, but I don't know that you'll find a praying mantis stuck to the wheel well. I would say if you do come across a situation like an unexpected insect type of situation, instead of turning and running, stick around with your camera and see what you can come up with. You might surprise yourself.